are not getting a divorce.
We are not getting a divorce.
We are not getting a divorce.
Wait for it. Super divorce.
Hey guys!
Hello.
How's it going?
Welcome to the very first episode of Super Divorce SUPERCAST.
Yeah, welcome. You may be... Chances are you listened to our last podcast that we had in a previous life. But this podcast will be similar yet different.
A little more structured. A little bit. As you can clearly tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a lot more structured. There will be a lot more,
Long pauses.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's more of a traditional linear game than it is an open world game.
Right, but we're going to run our show as the U.S. Constitution should be run, which is we'll let the people decide the format going forward. If you guys like this format, we'll continue with it. We wrote up our Super Divorce script, not really a script, but an outline. But if you guys like the
we have a syllabus to follow.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not. You sound like Rick. Just stuttering through all your sentences.
Hey, I'm Nick.
I'm Bob.
I'm Bender.
I play vocals.
Nick,
I play vocals.
Nick
I'm
plays
Nick and I play vocals.
Bender.
What do you play, Bender?
I play drums. I am La Drummer.
I play guitar.
Who
Bob
are you?
plays guitar.
I'm Bob.
Bob plays guitar.
And Dale plays
sounds like a
bass, but
children's
he's not
book.
here.
Yeah, there's a guy named Dale who's also in our band. Shout out to Dale. He couldn't be here tonight because of a previous engagement. Not an actual engagement in the romantic sense, but an engagement to be present at a social gathering.
A family gathering.
Family,
not just social.
Not social.
We're not that low.
There was a family member he had not seen in some time.
Yes.
So he was going to see that family
So
member.
he's excused from the first episode, but if he ever misses an episode again, he's out.
Yeah.
Not just out of the show, but out of the band.
Yeah. And that was
we're probably going to kill him too.
My vote was that he was out already, regardless of whether or not he even showed up tonight or not. I was wanting him gone, but
And we talked Bob down.
yeah, I
So
accepted.
let's just give him another chance.
Give him one more shot.
Yeah.
But really, he's on thin ice with me. So
Hey, if you want to listen to the show again, because somehow you found it. But if you want to listen to it again, or you want to tell other people about it, you want to listen to future shows, go to www.superdivorceme.com/supercastme. That's all together. You don't want to put spaces in there; it won't work. That's not how the browser bar works.
No, and that's not how it's ever worked. So if you don't know that, then you haven't used the internet very much.
You must be a baby.
Yeah, you must be some kind of a dickhead.
I think there's somewhere else you can listen to our podcast.
That would be on iTunes, which is an Apple invention. It's been around a while. You can buy songs on there, or you can listen to podcasts.
Apple?
Yeah.
Like the fruit?
No, it's the company. It's a company.
Oh.
It was founded by
Is that,
Stephen Jobs.
Oh.
He's a famous statesman and inventor.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in 1943 and lived until 1994.
Yeah.
So,
also played by Ashton Kutcher in a movie and
Michael
a new one.
Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender,
Yeah.
who
Well-
Bender likes because he's got part of his name.
Right.
My sister has a big crush on Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Did you know he has 2 movies with full frontal nudity?
Mm-mm.
I didn't, but I'd like to see his penis if I can. Also, you don't want to let your kids listen to this cast. It's adult-oriented.
It's not safe for work either.
Not safe for work unless your work's very loose about talk of violence and rape and incest.
We're not going to talk about rape.
But we are going to talk about incest. I'm just kidding.
There could be a news story.
And we're going to have to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean we're going to be
No, we're not like
encouraging that kind of behavior, but we may address it.
I'm
if
not.
we
Yeah,
have
I'm
to.
not like Daniel Tosh.
No. We don't think that the Jared Fogle situation is funny in any way.
As we bust out laughing at the mention of Jared Fogle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's not. That's not funny.
No, it really isn't. But Jared Fogle being a pedophile, it just kind of makes sense to the point where it almost is like, wow,
Yeah.
we couldn't tell really, but you know,
All he ever did was sell $5 footballs.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch. Jared Fogle, burn in hell
Yeah.
if you ever hear this. And if I ever see you, if you ever get let out of prison, which I hope you just kill yourself right away, but if I ever see you, I will kick you square in the nuggets.
I don't think you would do that to Jared Fogle.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I would do?
I think you would walk by him, and I think you would think about it later in the day.
Man, I
You'd
should
say,
have
"That
kicked
guy's-
him.
That fucking piece of shit. I can't believe I saw him."
Well,
And then
if not me, somebody's gonna kick him in the nuggets. I
Yeah.
imagine, because they're not easy on sex offenders in prison,
no,
as far as I'm told. So.
we're off to a good start here
Yep.
on this new show.
Covered. This is why you guys don't want me to have a microphone on stage. But
Hey, speaking of on stage, we just played a show last night at the Old Crow Bar.
yeah, I don't know if any of us had ever been there before.
No, I hadn't.
I hadn't personally.
It was a neat place.
It was neat. It was way better than I expected it would be. I didn't think we were actually going to be on a stage, but there we were.
And it was nice, and it was like kind of seedy, you know.
Yeah,
Nothing uppity. It
right.
was,
Rust Cole
Rust
would have
Cole.
gladly had a Lone Star in that bar.
yeah.
But also the people were very friendly. It wasn't
They were.
it wasn't the biker crowd that I thought we might see and get things thrown at us
No.
for playing.
They paid us, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah.
So
So
rock and
That
roll
was
band.
unexpected.
yeah. So if you ever want to get a paid show, you got a few songs put together, put in your resume over at Old Crow Bar.
In Middletown.
In Middletown, it's a nice establishment. The people who run it are nice. They got good sound, a good stage.
Middletown where? Because we might have listeners in
I was just thinking that, yeah.
Saskatchewan.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what Saskatchewan is.
We're
It's
in
an
Ohio.
area?
It's in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Middletown, Ohio.
Middletown, Ohio.
It's between Dayton and Cincinnati.
Hence
That's
the
why it's
name.
called the Middle Town.
No.
Town of Middles.
No. No. But it was good. Hey, another thing, bands, if you're looking for a nice place to play, is they threw us on that show on good faith. They heard
Right.
none of our music. It was like, hey, we need a show. And he was like, cool. How about this date?
Mm-hmm.
And we showed up and played. And maybe if we would have just blown ass and, caused everyone to leave, then they wouldn't have been so kind to us. But if you show up and you play well, I think that you'll be in for a pleasant evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we should thank the other band that played with us. They're called Wicked Fix with 2 X's. They were very nice and very cordial with us, and
very sweet young gentlemen.
yeah, nice young kids. We're probably about 48 years older than them, but they were young guys playing old guy rock, which I thought was really cool. So very 70s influenced. Did a Sabbath cover and stuff. So if you're looking for your 70s fix, but you like to watch younger guys perform it, and you've had it with seeing Mick Jagger's 85-year-old ass parading around on stage, you can get your fix of 70s with Wicked Fix. And I noted on stage that they also have Wicked Dicks. So if you're also into that, you may want to introduce yourself and try to work your way into their personal lives, and you may find out whether or not that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have a show next week, don't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Putting on our own show next week.
Yeah, we played a show at the American Legion, which is where we'll be doing next Friday's show on Friday the 13th. It's kind of a slasher-themed show that we're throwing over there at the American Legion in Lebanon. Our last venture at that venue was quite successful. Had an awesome night. And we've got one band that played that last show in April with us coming back for the one next week. That's Abertooth Lincoln.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see them because I know they've got either one new member or a couple new members.
Two new members.
Two new members.
Yeah.
Brand new vocalist.
Brand new vocalist. So I'm excited to see how that changes the dynamic of their band, because I really liked them before, but it'll be cool to see how that's kind of changed the landscape of their music. Really looking forward to playing with those guys again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got Kid Stardust from Cincy, and
Colors in Mind.
Colors in Mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Don't want to anybody from Colors in Mind, if you're listening, we didn't mean to stammer.
Yeah. We've never played with them before.
Right.
So it's.
But they're friends of Abertooth, and if they're friends with Abertooth, then
probably going to be friends of ours.
We'll probably
Give them high fives.
Yep. Either behind the back or possibly a low five to start out.
Yeah. Maybe a jumping five eventually. That'd be good. What else do we have on the plate here as far as band news? Well, we're finishing up with the recording of our 10-song album tomorrow.
Yes.
Our debut album.
Yeah, that we recorded at Moon Ranch Studios out in just the Tip City with Mr. Jack Wiley.
Yes, Jack, if you're listening, we'll be there tomorrow to massage you gently.
As well as Kirby.
Yep.
I don't know if Kirby's going to be there tomorrow, but good people. Good people. Good Turks. Good people, good turkey.
Yep.
A good guinea.
Yep.
And a few good chickens. And a dog named Joe.
Yep. Dog. When you said Joe, you sounded like Lex Luger. Dog named Joe.
Joe.
Billy, what's his name? Sure.
So yeah, be warned, because we've got an album coming out at a time that we have not decided on yet.
Yep.
But
We don't have a name for it yet either. We're kicking around titles for the album still, so that
if you think you have a rad title, then just go ahead and let us know, and maybe we'll use it.
We could just call it Dig Butt.
Yeah.
Good.
One of my suggestions was vaginal.
No.
All of them were. Every word that passed through my mind right there to follow up the word vaginal was grotesque. So I just decided to leave it off.
How about Vaginal Boy?
Vaginal boy.
It's kind of like the Sauce Boy.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's vaginal. He's
I don't know. You make up your own story for it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have any ideas about Vaginal Boy, you can also let us know on our Facebook page or in the Divorce Club if you're a member over there.
Yeah. Our first EP in our last band was called Exile Boy, so I think the natural next step is Vaginal Boy. He's been exiled and he's found his new adjective that he wants describing himself.
Yeah.
He's been exiled, but now he's found himself drawn to...
We could call it Vaginal Boy Volume 2, The Steaming Cave.
Except for the fact that it would have to be Vaginal Boy Exile Boy Volume 2.
Yeah.
So it's Vaginal Boy Volume 1.
Yeah.
But you don't say the Volume 1.
Or it could be Exile Boy Volume 2, Vaginal Boy.
The emergence of Vaginal Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. You said you were drawn to something. I know another thing you've been drawn to recently, and that's the new Weezer song, Do You Want to Get High?
Yeah.
That's pretty good tune there, isn't it?
Yeah. Every week we're going to spotlight an artist that of our choosing. It could be a local artist, it could be a big name, and I think it's appropriate for us to kick off our artist spotlight with a band like Weezer that so many of us have an appreciation for. And not only that, they've released 2 new singles just within the past few weeks, very close to each other. Mixed reaction on the first song, but
I dug it.
Right.
I thought it was a fun tune. Thank God for Girls. You might know that song now as the one with the weird cannoli video, which I think is genius.
Yeah, the video definitely boosted its charm for me.
I've never had a cannoli, but I think after watching that video, I don't think I could ever have a cannoli.
Cannolis are wonderful.
I'm sure they are.
A lot of people love cannolis. I've never had one either.
Well, you probably never will.
Probably not. I mean, but I'd be interested to know what a cannoli is all about.
They're a big East Coast staple.
Okay.
You see them everywhere, out in Boston and in New York.
Well, I know it's an Italian dessert.
Yeah.
I think it's a dessert. It looks like one.
There are many different kinds of cannolis that you can get. Different shells with different fillings.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like ice cream flavors.
Wow.
That's how many different styles of cream you can fill your cannoli with.
Wow.
So
I think I would like that.
Yeah.
I like a lot of cream.
Yeah.
I use the term creamy to define a lot of the sounds that I wanted to get on our album. So I can appreciate good cream. I can also appreciate the new Weezer song, Do You Want to Get High? Because even after it took time for Thank God for Girls to grow on me, immediately when I heard Do You Want to Get High, I was smitten.
Same here.
So,
it is. Well, I believe I texted you and I just said that it was basically like a Pinkerton song. I mean, it was it was that good in my opinion.
Yeah. To an extent, I feel like it almost out-Pinkertons Pinkerton. I love Pinkerton. I think the issue is I've heard it a million times.
Yeah.
And I think if that song was on it, it would be the same level as all the other songs on Pinkerton. But because it's so fresh, the production value is really high, but also it has the roughness of Pinkerton. It just seems like everything's boosted up and very clear while retaining a level of dirt that I find charming in a Weezer song. Because you're always going to get a pop rock song. That's just what Weezer is. But if you can add some darkness to it, that's where they really shine, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing. So maybe if you, for whatever reason, didn't jump back on board with Weezer when their newest album came out last year, Everything Will Be Alright in the End. Give Do You Want to Get High a shot, please, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you're a fan of their, earlier work from the mid to late 90s, with the Blue Album and Pinkerton. And, I would even say it's got a little bit of maladroit kind of edginess to it. Not much Green, because Green was very polished and poppy and probably, I don't know, it's a big favorite of a lot of fans, but I don't rank it as highly as some people do.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely put Maladroit above Green on my list.
Yeah, same here.
I haven't been a hardcore Weezer fan as long as Nick has, but even just being a fan of them for a little while, I can tell they're really coming back into their own. And I know they're digging through some of their material for ideas there, and I just can't believe this song has been on the shelf for 15 years.
Yeah, basically it was written in like 2000, 2001, something like that.
The production on it's spot on. The vocals, the backing vocals, it's just pleasing all around. It's just an awesome track. So
check it out.
Give it a shot, please.
Hey, here's a new thing we're gonna do on our show. We call this Trending Topics. How creative of us. We're gonna check out the trending topics on Facebook, and we're all gonna become TT boys real quick. And
didn't you just say earlier that was the name of a
porn star,
an adult film actor?
Yeah,
TT boy.
When I first stumbled upon hardcore back, I think when we first got the internet, and, yeah, I remember TT Boy being one of those names, along with like Peter North, and I also mentioned Lexington Steel.
Yeah. Shout out to Lex.
Hey, what's up, Lex?
What are the odds that TT Boy is still alive? I want to take bets, and then we'll do our Googling later.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take the bets on the show, and we'll reveal the answer next week, whether TT Boy is still alive.
I think TT Boy is still alive, but I don't think he's doing porn anymore.
Okay.
And I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm saying that's my guess.
I hadn't heard of TT Boy until today. I don't want to agree with you, because I want one of us to think he's dead at least.
I think he's dead.
You think he's dead?
Bender thinks TT Boy
sure.
has passed away.
I'll go with that.
What do you think he died of? Do you think it was an STD?
Probably. No? Especially if he was in the hardcore scene. He either died.
You don't think maybe he died in a car accident on the way to a shoot? He was.
He died from an STD, or just having a gaping asshole or something. All of his insides came out of it.
So you think he possibly got...
He took it one too many times.
He got pushed to the bottom of the porn industry.
I don't know if he did gay porn. Maybe he did.
He did it willingly.
What about scenes with... you think... Well, never mind. I don't want to... You think maybe his intestines were damaged some way.
Sure.
And possibly fell out.
Maybe he ended up like Mr. Hands. Search that one on Google.
God. Yeah. Maybe that was TT Boy, because they never showed that guy's face. So
don't look up Mr. Hands while you're at work, though.
No, fuck. Jesus.
Or in polite company.
No, you don't want to look it up in front of your mom.
No.
That would be bad.
Do it at 3 in the morning in the dark recesses of your office or what have you. Let's see, what's trending right now?
Oh, TT Boy is number 1. Just kidding.
Right now we've got Merry Christmas Starbucks.
Bullshit.
Patrons use hashtag to express frustration over coffee chain's holiday cups.
Have you heard about this, Bob?
I can kind of gauge exactly what it's about.
Well, if you haven't seen the new holiday cups, they really have no... there's no symbology, no imagery used to point towards like Christmas or the holidays. It's just
Okay.
a red cup.
Okay.
So normally they've got like snowflakes and like maybe some Christmas trees, other kind of
Right.
bullshit. But this year it's just all red,
Mhm.
and then you get your sleeve over it, and that's what they're going with.
People are butthurt about this.
Yeah, people are taking to the internet.
The day you
Bender's giving me a very serious look because he knows what's going through my head.
The day you get butthurt over your Starbucks coffee cup.
Here's an idea.
Not your Starbucks coffee.
Here's an idea. Fuck you. I'm sorry, but we're gonna do this a lot, and we have opinions. That's what a podcast is about. And my opinion on this is,
Go fuck yourself.
seriously, get a fucking life. If you think a hashtag Merry Christmas Starbucks is your number one priority this holiday season, you can just stop listening to the show right now and go fuck yourself. Because there's many holidays celebrated by many different groups, religions, ethnicities, and stuff. If Starbucks wants to make a red cup so that they don't alienate one specific group, they're a global company. Just because it doesn't have a snowflake on it, I understand that.
They didn't even say they were doing it
Because of that.
because of any particular reason. They said it was a more stripped down, simplistic design.
Yeah.
Just the red holiday cup. I mean,
It sounds cool.
it's Christmassy.
Right.
I think it is still.
Yeah.
If you want it to be, it's a Christmas color.
Yeah.
Red and green, Christmas colors.
Mm-hmm.
You could say it's a holiday color, whatever.
Yeah.
You know. But
What- do
Starbucks
your-
never said.
Wait, and aren't Starbucks sleeves, their cardboard sleeves are green, aren't they?
The one that I got most recently was just the traditional
Was
cardboard.
well.
You know. But
Who gives a shit?
Right.
Really? I mean, if you celebrate Christmas, great. Get
Yeah.
your Starbucks mocha in your red little Starbucks cup, and you can drink it on Christmas morning around your little tree,
mhm.
and that's fine. Why? What
Or if
is
you-
the big deal?
if you get if you go down the street to the Kroger here in Lebanon,
Yeah.
go ahead and order your venti Pike place
Yep.
and walk to the far back left of the store, and you can just sit down in the middle of the huge holiday section.
Yeah.
With mostly Christmas decorations.
Mostly Christmas that you won't. You'd be hard pressed to find any menorahs over
Yeah.
there.
So just
So if
sit
you're
down.
concerned about, Jews or something, then you can live in your own little bubble
I'm
and
concerned
drink.
about the Jews.
Bender's half Jewish. What I'm saying is, enjoy your holiday season. Don't let shit piss you off for no reason. I mean, it's a red cup. The end.
They gave you something.
They gave you a
They
Christmas
changed-
color.
They changed their normal cup during the holiday season to a holiday Christmas color. You've got that at least.
Yes.
So
Even if it wasn't a Christmas cup at all, it's coffee.
yeah,
Who cares? I mean, there's so much Christmas shit everywhere. 99% of the people you know, if you live in this area, probably celebrate Christmas, and that's great.
I do.
Yeah, that'll never go away.
And
Even
I'm not a fucking religious person, but
Yeah.
At this point, Christmas is just an American thing, not even like,
Right.
I mean, with the amount that it's pushed in stores and whatnot, I went to Kroger today and there's already fucking Christmas decorations
Yep.
up. They're selling shit.
there's no
it's just
war
like
on
it's not-
Christmas. Christmas is
Yeah.
not going away.
Christmas is fine.
It's here to stay.
It actually comes on stronger and stronger every year.
So
Yeah.
I don't think this cup thing is really gonna fuck up anybody's Christmas track.
You'll be all right, kids.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
What else is trending?
Debbie Thomas, ex-Olympian and surgeon, says she's unemployed and living in trailer in new interview.
Here's an interesting thought that I just had. whether we're going to go any deeper into it than just reading the headlines. Because we could just go off of that. And
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about.
That's it then.
Yeah, that's our trending topic. There's the topic. That's what they're giving us.
Okay. So we're not going to go into it anymore. Okay.
We get that. If you hover over it.
If you hover over it, you get a little deeper description. She was a figure skater, the first black athlete to medal at the Winter Olympics, winning bronze in Calgary in 1988. She has an interview on the on OWN, which is the Oprah network, I believe, called what the hell is that? Leonla?
Leonla, right? Ianla? Maybe Ianla.
Ianla, fix my life. Okay.
She wants Ianla to fix her life.
All right. So, Debbie Thomas.
I have to say I did not know of Debbie Thomas before now.
I don't know who she is either.
I don't know who she is either. It looks like she's fallen on some hard times. I don't quite know what the circumstances are, whether it was self-inflicted things that happened. I don't know if she battled with drugs or alcohol or...
Well, it's all so much speculation here.
Right.
We don't know.
we don't know any of that, nor are we going to find out.
So all that we can base our opinion off of here is what we're reading. And I have to say...
That kind of sucks.
That's no good. I hope that she gets out of her trailer... because it seems like they're saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Not that if you have a nice trailer, then cool.
Oh, man, there are real nice trailers out there. Just because you live in a trailer...
But she's unemployed.
Right.
And living in a trailer.
Yes.
So it's probably not a good trailer.
Probably not. So what I want to say is that even if she had fallen into the trap of drugs and alcohol... I don't want to write this woman off as a complete failure.
Well, she's an ex-Olympic champion.
Absolutely.
So
she's achieved greatness before.
She's been through adversity, and maybe she can go to that place and make a comeback.
Right. And I don't like this culture that we have where people do this kind of she's getting what she deserves kind of thing with drug addiction and alcohol addiction and obesity. Well, they're getting what they deserve when they die young. That's
here's one thing.
Horse shit.
Here's something on the opposite of that spectrum, and that's this gives me pause. The fact that she went on this show and she wants Iyanla to fix her life.
Yeah, who's this Iyanla?
Because I don't believe that Iyanla is going to do it. I think that...
Okay.
I think that Debbie Thomas needs to fix her life.
Yeah.
And she can have help.
With a little help from her friends, but you can't... If you're homeless, you can't just run up to somebody with money and say, "Fix my life!"
But what if this OWN network or whatever, what if Iyanla's Fix My Life is a show where she each week fixes someone's life?
That could be it.
Yeah, but that's not much time.
Yeah, you can't really fix your life in a week, can you?
Well, no.
Unless somebody gives you a heaping
But you don't...
If it was like... If the show was like, Iyanla, lend me a hand.
Iyanla, help me... be my life coach for a little while until I get back on my feet.
Like MTV's Made. Mm-hmm. You remember that show?
Yeah.
I kind of remember that. I remember there was a ska band on there.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
They were called, what were they called? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because they went through all that shit and didn't nobody show up to their show or something.
Yeah. I think they might have been called like the Mad Caps.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
That sounds close.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mad Caps. I wonder if they're still around.
I don't know.
They might be on Fix My Life next after Debbie Thomas.
Debbie Thomas, I hope that she gets better.
We wish her the best, regardless.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was self-inflicted or even worse, if it was just piss poor luck that found her struggling at the bottom rung of society.
I hope Iyanla helps her
Yes.
But the thing is, if she gets help from Iyanla, Debbie Thomas is going to have to take that boost and make it work in her own life.
Right.
That's the trick.
We want to give her the tools to be the designer of her own destiny.
Yeah.
So show your support, Debbie Thomas, 2015.
All right. Our next and final trend for this evening is Chloe Grace Moretz. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Moretz.
Actress to star in The Little Mermaid, report says. Moretz has signed on to play the title character in the live-action film. Variety reported Richard Curtis is in talks to write the script. Tom Bevan and Eric
Looks
Fellner.
like Tim Bevan.
Tim.
Or Bevan.
I figured it was Bevan. Is it Bevan?
Oh, you figured it was Bevan, but we're gonna go ahead.
Yeah,
and pronounce it
Tim Bevan.
Tim Bevan and Eric Fellner are set to produce. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah,
I don't know either of those men.
I don't like their names. They give me a bad vibe.
But wait, look, Tim and Eric set to produce.
So you think perhaps those are fake names to cover up the fact that Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim will be behind the live-action Little Mermaid?
You heard it here first. We're breaking this story wide open.
Wow, it's so obvious too.
Yeah, but no one's mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
The headline should say Tim and Eric
set to produce
Chloe Grace Moretz in new live-action Little Mermaid movie.
Yeah.
It's a bit wordy.
It'll be called Little Mermaid Boy. Is what it'll be called. Coming in 2017, Little Mermaid Boy.
Starring Chloe Grace Moretz.
Which is a pseudonym for David Liebehart. That's an alternate. I believe that's his stage name.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you wanna, we could even redo the title because we know it's an elaborate ruse to cover up who's actually producing and starring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really Tim and Eric. Tim and Eric, awesome show. Are producing and, these other guys sound fake. Well, Richard Curtis is in talks to write the script. It doesn't mention who's directing. Well, so I'd imagine Tim and Eric will be directing.
That's probably Richard Dunn.
So Richard Dunn is in talks to write the script. From the grave. Posthumously.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he wrote the script before he passed.
Yeah.
Or maybe he never really passed, and that was a Tim and Eric stunt.
It was a goof. And they're going to come out and let everyone know when the movie's released.
Yeah.
Well, when you start seeing the hype for it.
Right. Richard Dunn will be unveiled as not only still alive, but writing scripts for Tim and Eric. Thriving, yeah.
In this climate.
Mm-hmm. He just needed the right, like you said, climate of Hollywood to get his scripts in there to the major studios.
Yeah.
So, live-action Little Mermaid, directed by Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim, written by Richard Dunn, and starring David Liebehart in the title role
and
as Ariel.
Steve Brule as Ursula.
Now I want David Liebehart to be Ursula and Steve Brule to be the mermaid, though. Maybe Steve Brule can be who's Ariel's dad?
Poseidon.
Poseidon?
Is it Poseidon or is it who's the other Neptune? It's King Triton.
King Triton. Yeah.
Which is what Neptune carries and throws at people.
Trident.
Well,
like
trident.
gum.
Yeah. Triton.
Mm-hmm.
Triton.
Huh.
Yeah. I think that
Maybe
Triton's
The
headphones.
prince's name is Eric too.
They make Triton headphones as well.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen Triton
You
headphones.
sell them at GameStop.
I work at GameStop and I don't think I've ever seen them because I don't pay attention.
I know those headphones. I had a pair of them.
Did you?
Yep.
Wait, I think
They're not the afterglows, but they're
No.
It's like Triton, right?
Mhm.
I
Or
might
is it
have a pair.
TAN?
never
You
mind.
might have a pair of Tritons.
Yeah, I think I do have a pair of them.
Okay.
Or comma. I have comma something or other. Triton might make the comma.
Maybe that's just an ad for Sauce Boy.
the could be.
Yeah.
Well, in any event, that's all the time we've got for TT Boys tonight. So
Yeah. TT Boyz bringing you the newest trends on Facebook.
it's a good segment.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah, I think we've found the name is now TT
Oh yeah,
Boys.
it's definitely
Yeah.
time for TT Boys.
We're all boys and it's trending topics, so TT Boys.
We're the TT Boys.
Mhm. I got no problem with being a TT boy.
Our next topic we're going to move on to here, our next segment. We call this segment Super Divorce Don't Know Shit. In this segment, we're going to look up some sort of news story from, I don't know, an arena that we have no real grasp on, and then we're going to talk about it
Yeah.
for 10 minutes. So I figured maybe we should start with geography.
Okay.
So
I'm
let's
good
see.
with
I'm gonna type in geography news here
Okay.
on the computer.
that. Welcome to Super Divorce Don't Know Shit. Version 1. So maybe eventually we'll have a little fancy soundbite for this.
Yeah.
Super Divorce. You don't know shit. I want to get somebody to say it like that.
Hopefully we'll, in time we'll refine this more. Maybe eventually you guys can send us topics
Yeah.
to talk about.
Feel free to do that for next week's show in the Divorce Club or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/superdivorce, I believe, is it? Or is it Super Divorce Band? It's
Yes.
Super Divorce, one word, in the Facebook search bar, and you'll find us pretty quickly. So, yep. Suggest a topic for Super Divorce. Don't know shit. Something that you know that we won't know about.
Something you don't know about yourself,
Yeah.
maybe.
Possibly.
Or maybe you're really smart and you do know about it and you want us to try and pretend like we know what we're talking about.
But we don't, because we don't know shit about every one of these topics. So.
Tonight's topic is using apps to let your fingers do the globe trotting.
Can you repeat that again for the listeners who may have not been able to take all that in upon
Tonight,
first listen?
On Super Divorce Don't Know Shit, we will be talking about using apps, like on your phone or computer, to let your fingers do the globe trotting.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
I feel like this is some kind of a way for those without the means to travel the world, to get a sense of the world via an application on their phone, where they can quite literally use an application to traverse the globe and learn different things about different nations and countries and areas.
Well, see, I have problems with this right away. Because what I think is going to happen is you're going to get people who download these apps, and the first thing that comes to mind for me is how many people are just going to stop exercising, stop walking and running, because they open this app where they can just let their fingers do the walking.
Oh yeah.
And they're kind of scrolling down the road, and in their minds it's like, I'm just traveling down my street.
Mhm.
I walked 5 miles today, but I walked it on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in their minds, they're going to convince themselves that that's good enough.
Yeah.
I see a huge problem, a huge epidemic breaking out with obesity and people just falling into squalor.
Right.
Because they cannot, they can no longer get up out of their seat. They're so convinced by this new trend of letting their fingers do the walking on their apps.
I mean, by my estimation, I feel like the people that have downloaded these apps out of the whatever majority, like I would say probably about 3% have already quit their jobs because they're like, well, I can just travel the world now, and I don't need to spend money to do it.
Well, think about tourist economies all across the globe. How is this going to impact them when people stop visiting because they're visiting on their phones now? They're not going to the airport. Airports are going to shut down. Airlines are going to shut down. How many people are going to lose jobs because of these new finger walking apps where you can just travel the globe using your fingers? I think we need to put an end to this and do it yesterday because this is just out of control.
Well, wait till
We've gone too far.
Wait till you hear me blow the lid wide open on this situation right now. Does this phrase sound familiar to you? Let your fingers do the walking.
It does.
That was the Yellow Pages slogan.
Yeah.
And we all know that the Yellow Pages has been struggling to become relevant again. They're always calling people, telling you, hey, we can deliver you an up-to-date Yellow Page for, $1 a month or some bullshit, and there's no way it would ever affect your bank account to pay for what they want because it's so pathetically small, and you still tell them, fuck you, I don't want your fucking Yellow Pages. I don't care if it costs 1 penny. I don't care if you pay me to take your Yellow Pages because I don't fucking want it.
I think
okay?
if they paid me to take it, I'd probably take it.
I probably wouldn't. And here's why. Because these sons of bitches are now trying to subliminally worm their way back into society with this let your fingers do the globe-trotting campaign and getting us to give up on going outside and traveling around and seeing things with our own eyes. And they're trying to reduce us to letting our fingers do the walking again. It's just like what happened in the mid-'80s. There was a huge campaign spearheaded by many different people to take down the Yellow Pages because people had just been sitting in their apartments letting their fingers walk across the Yellow Pages.
You talking about the Great Yellow Page War of '82?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we narrowly escaped.
Yes,
but the problem is they were driven underground, and they've had all this time to formulate this new plan.
Yep. They have new technology. They've poured what little funds they had left from old people, elderly folks that they trick into these subscriptions. Businesses that aren't ready to, turn on an internet connection and just look things up because as soon as that happens, the Yellow Pages are obsolete.
Yeah.
So they're preying on these the weaker demographic that they can trick and using the revenue from these sleazy endeavors to fund this new campaign of inactivity.
What do you think the Yellow Pages' ultimate goal is, though? I mean, are they trying to take down the internet because to get people to go back to using it? Because
they want the internet gone altogether.
It seems to me like right now, if they're if they're working to get people obese and to get people to stop walking and to get people to not leave their house, that's great, they can do that, but they're still not going to get people to use the Yellow Pages versus using their cell phones to order pizza.
No, here's
That's
the thing.
what you think.
Yeah.
Because when you stay home and only let your fingers do the walking, not only will you never leave your house, but you've now lost your job. And you can't pay for that internet connection anymore.
Nope.
Now what can you pay for? The Yellow Pages. So now you are forced to let your fingers do the walking again. If you need to look up a phone number, you go, oh shit, my internet's been turned off because I'm no longer receiving a paycheck because I've been letting my fingers run across this app all day long. Not only that, but your phone may die at some point.
There's got to be something more sinister to it that we're missing, though, because when the internet goes down, if you're not paying that bill, you're also not paying your phone bill.
Right. Because chances are they're tied together.
They don't even want you to use the Yellow Pages to look up numbers to then call someone. They just want people sitting, reading the Yellow Pages, letting their fingers do the walking, and convincing themselves that this is life. This is the life that I want to live. I want to sit here and flip these pages and just peruse all of the different places that I might have gone, all of the businesses I might have patronized, all of the different restaurants I might have eaten at.
And their fingers
And
will
I
be
did this to
stained with the
myself.
cheap
Yeah.
fingers will be stained with the cheap ink on those shitty paper pages.
They're out for blood. The
Yeah.
yellow pages are out for blood.
Right.
But they saw
could
this
be-
coming. And I think that's what the War of 82 was about. They heard rumblings of the internet, and they wanted to
Right.
get their stranglehold before they even had to deal with it.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
I believe they had a man on the inside when Al Gore figured out the internet.
Yeah.
Right when he invented it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was in '82.
That's when he uploaded the internet
Right.
for
What
the
if,
first time.
follow me here though, do you think that inside man could have been Steve Jobs? Because let's talk about apps for a second.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about an inside Jobs?
He's an inside job.
We laugh because it makes us so nervous, discovering all this dark, beneath the surface stuff here.
You didn't talk about apps until iPhones came out, really.
Right. I mean,
there were applications.
There were applications, but the term, app and like having a marketplace for these applications specifically,
from the company Apple.
from the company.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Applications.
right.
Yeah, I mean, how have people missed this? How did we
shit.
miss it for so long?
Well,
I, for one, am going to break my phone.
Yeah. Everyone.
And I'm just going to traverse the world with my actual feet and not just my fingers.
right.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if I'm going to let my fingers do the walking for me, because my legs are perfectly usable, and to me that's a blessing when you look around and see how many people are immobilized and they have no choice in the matter. So if you can walk, you better let your legs do the goddamn walking before these yellow page dickheads take over your life.
But if you can't walk and you need to let your fingers do the walking, at least go outside and
Put your fingers on the controller of your power chair instead.
Yeah. Or roll your wheels with your hands.
or if you don't have arms, it's not an issue because your fingers aren't going to do anything. But
yeah, those people are safe
yeah,
from the yellow page assholes.
yeah.
Until Atari comes back, which maybe needs to be saved for next week, because I have a feeling that Atari is part of this. They're in cahoots with the yellow page people, because the Atari Mind Link would then make the use of fingers in general obsolete if you were able to control your application with your mind and let your thoughts do the walking for you. That's taken it down to even a more minuscule calorie burn, and you're still inside. Your fingers aren't even getting worked out. You don't even have to move. So now you're completely paralyzed. So,
Well, this has been very eye-opening, but Super Divorce don't know shit. So next, we're gonna go to the comics corner.
Oh yay, Comics Corner.
woo!
I forgot this was a topic.
For those of you who like reading of the graphic nature, not graphic sexually or violently.
Well, it depends on what
It
you're
depends.
Some of them might.
Depends on what
But,
you're
A little bit
reading.
of that.
A
A lot of them have a lot of that, actually.
Did you ever read the issue of Saga with the Stalk and the Will having sex, and she tells him to put it in her spinneret?
No.
That's a good one.
So what are we going to talk about on Comics Corner? Because I know that this will be a Nick and Bender heavy subject here, and I'll just be adding in. This is kind of like the Bob don't know shit area of the
Well, you
show.
can still chime.
Yeah.
Right.
Free to chime.
Well, since today is the inaugural episode, do you just want to kind of generalize some of our favorite stuff or what we're reading right now?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you're reading anything good or if you've read anything good recently.
I've been I've still been kind of getting on I'm on the collector's side of it instead of the reading side right now.
Yeah.
But I have kept up with a lot of the Marvel Star Wars stuff that's been coming out. Darth Vader in particular is excellent. I was pretty butthurt to see Star Wars get transferred over from Dark Horse to Marvel, because I feel like Dark Horse really did a good job contributing to that expanded universe and everything, which is all obsolete now.
Are the new comics canon?
Yeah, the new comics, everything that's come out with the Star Wars name and the Marvel logo on it is official Star Wars canon.
So what's going on with the Vader book? Where does that pick up?
Well, right now, everything except for Shattered Empire, which is a 4-comic miniseries, everything is taking place right after the first Death Star is destroyed. So you're in that, right between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It starts out with them trying to figure out who even destroyed the Death Star in the first place. So Vader is tasked with essentially finding Luke Skywalker, and he sends out a variety of bounty hunters to track him down, including Boba Fett and a Wookiee whose name I couldn't pronounce. But
sounds like a good read.
You like the writing?
It is. It's very good. It's written by, I believe it's written by Kieran Gillen.
Oh, yeah.
He also writes Wicked and Divine for Image.
There was a really good Gillen run on Iron Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did all the, or no, that was Cullen Bunn. All the Deadpool multiverse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Kieran Gillen's great. The great thing about the Darth Vader comic is that you've got such a serious character in Darth Vader. You know, he's so full of hatred and he's so full of rage and he wants revenge on all the Jedi that are all dead for all he knows at this point. But there's these two droids in the comic that bring this completely out of nowhere sense of humor to it, and it throws the whole tempo of the comic off in the best way possible. They're essentially the killer versions of C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh. Huh. Are they? Do they have a similar look? Or
no, they do. The one is a protocol droid, so he looks just like C-3PO except he's all black.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is an astromech droid that's black and red. And they're assassin droids that have been disguised as protocol and astromechs.
Hmm.
So the protocol droid, for example, has all the same functionality as C-3PO, like speaking millions of languages and lessons in manners and things like that, but he also talks about how he likes to peel the skin off of his victims and then harvest their blood. He thinks he has a programming issue where he thinks that he needs to harvest blood to stay alive, but he doesn't. So he just kills people to kill people, pretty much.
So he's like a robot vampire.
Basically.
Kind of. Only I'm guessing it doesn't suck their blood.
Yeah, no, it's not quite like that. But there's a great scene where he's interrogating a character that Vader wants him to interrogate, and he comes shambling out of the room, and he's just like, "Well, I have good news and bad news, Lord Vader." And Vader's like, "Well, what is it?" And he's like, "Well, I got the guy's name." And Vader goes, "Excellent, kill him." And the droid goes, "Oh, well then I have good news, because he's already dead."
Sounds like a good wholesome family fun day.
Yeah.
At the comic shop.
Pretty dark humor for the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Is it just what was the title? Is it just called?
It's just Darth Vader right now, and I believe here in the next couple weeks, a comic called Vader Down is coming out, and it's going to from what I understand, it's going all the storylines from Star Wars, the main title, Darth Vader, and Star Wars Lando, he's got his own comic. Possibly Chewbacca, which is only a 5-issue miniseries. All those storylines are going to kind of collide in Vader Down.
All right. Well, any of you Star Wars fans, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? Do we have time for you to go over anything you've been reading?
Like Bender, as far as the kind of weekly and monthly comics and individual issues, I've been on the collecting side. I like that. It's a good way of putting it.
Yep.
And it makes you sound like you're doing it on purpose. But no, I've got several stacks that I need to read, and I'm kind of making myself get through those before I even go to pick up more.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't know. It's overwhelming when it gets too big, when your backlog is just insanely, crammed full of comics. You almost don't even know where to start. It can be intimidating to even sit down and read one because you feel like you're not even making a dent. But I did finally read a graphic novel called Copra. It's an ongoing series, an indie comic that's really cool. If you like kind of ragtag group of anti-heroes, that type of story, it's really cool read. But I think they're up near issue 30 now. I've got like the first 20 issues, so.
Are they hard to track down? Because I don't think I've ever seen it in a.
No,
store.
You can order them online, and I got the issues that I have as well as the first graphic novel at sort of an indie comic store in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So, but you can go on the internet if you search for Copra. You can find the website where you can order that. So I would recommend that one. Good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Lastly, I think Saga is starting up again here soon. And that's probably my top comic has been really. I mean, since I started reading it, they're coming back with issue 31.
Cool. Bob, do you have any graphic novels or comics that you want to read soon that you've been meaning to read?
I know that there's a new book coming out, I believe in kind of sections, I guess, in issues. The new Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, which is sort of an ominous title for a person like Frank Miller to be writing. It sounds like it could be some kind of neo-fascist propaganda, but given the fact that the first book is so good, I'm willing to forgive Strikes Again if this new one is good, and I can get past the title. What I'll probably do is wait for it to come out as one complete trade paperback and read it like that, because I'm not really a comic collector. But also, I really want to read The Court of Owls. I keep meaning to pick that up, and every time I have it in my hands, for whatever reason, I find a reason to put it back. Cause
you know what you should do? You should look on eBay and Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I do. I go to a bookstore or a comic shop, and I pick it up and see that it's like $17, and then I look on Amazon, it's like $9.
Yeah.
And I can't bring myself to pay almost double what it would cost to just
ship it straight to your
so
house.
The next time I do an Amazon order, I'll just tack that bad boy on there, and I'll be able to read it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Court of Owls was very good.
Yeah.
How about we move on to video games?
Video games.
Yeah.
Nice.
Been playing anything sweet lately?
I loved the Battlefront beta a lot.
A lot of people did.
Loved it. So good.
Cannot wait for Battlefront to come out. I'm not one of the the people who's gotten cynical about that series because it doesn't match up with the original Battlefront games. If those games are so great, keep playing them because they're available for purchase wherever video games are sold.
Well, not wherever.
Well,
you
not
can't buy
wherever.
them at GameStop.
Secondhand.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm very excited about the new Battlefront. So much so that I wanted a first-person shooter that I could play couch co-op on, like that game, that I actually went out and purchased a Call of Duty game for the first time in several years. It's one of the only first-person shooters to still have a feature with couch co-op.
Hey, I'll admit, I think Black Ops 3 looks pretty sick, man.
Yeah.
I think the zombie stuff I've seen looks pretty awesome.
The one I picked up was Advanced Warfare, which is the most recent one that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Black Ops 3 came out this week.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this
But
was the most recent one. And I really enjoyed the campaign and everything. It's like playing an action movie. It's not really a military shooter like Battlefield tries to be. It's more of a run and gun, futuristic kind of. It's like a popcorn flick of a video game, basically.
Popcorn game.
There's tons of plot holes, and everybody conveniently shows up at the right time out of nowhere. But it's really fun. Along the same lines of Mortal Kombat X's storyline, where it's just a satisfyingly cheesy, you just love it. I loved the campaign in that game. I thought it was really, really fun.
I wish we could have popcorn games.
Yeah.
You can't, though, because you get your hands all buttered.
Yeah.
Right.
And your controller gets all greasy, and
Right.
that's no good. But if they made a peripheral that you could attach to your controller with like a
fire
mechanical
popcorn into your mouth.
I was thinking that might be a little messy sometimes. I was thinking more of like a mechanical arm.
Oh, that reaches into the popcorn
and then
reaches up to your face.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you magnetically charge the popcorn somehow, and you have a device that you place under your tongue, so that when the popcorn does shoot out, it's a lot more accurate than it would normally be.
What if it just activates when you open your mouth and popcorn starts flying from the bowl up to your mouth, and then
I'm thinking you just put the popcorn in a feed bag, like a horse's feed bag, and boom, there you go.
What about a hat? You could have a popcorn hat that has like
sort
a
of
tube.
like the beer hat.
Yeah, but it's a popcorn hat with a tube that
Yeah.
goes down your mouth. And
Maybe you have a button on your controller that you press that
Yeah.
releases a latch
Yeah.
or a little stopper, and when that opens, the popcorn gradually flows into your mouth, and you can stop it at any time, so you can have as much or as little as you want. But to answer your question, I just played Advanced Warfare's campaign, played a little bit of the multiplayer, had fun with it. I'm excited for Battlefront to come out, and I'm going to save my money for that one. But Fallout 4 is also coming out very soon as well. I believe it comes out on the 10th.
Yeah.
It is currently the 7th while we're recording this, so you got a little dilemma there, folks. If you're not raking in the cash and you can't afford 2 games at once, you got to pick your first-person game there. I know for a fact that I'm going to play Fallout 4, but I just see how much fun Battlefront could be, especially playing with friends.
And
the
first-person
couch co-op.
The online shooters are generally the best to get in on at the very beginning. Not only
Right.
because, well, I mean, sure, people are playing other first-person shooters and they're getting good at those, but you at least kind of ease into it on the same level as other people,
Right.
and you're not jumping into the game a year and a half after everyone else has been playing online, learning the maps,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, and also having the, I guess, the largest group of people playing when those games launch.
Yeah.
You know, it's more fun to be active in the community when it's really kind of hopping and there's that excitement there because it's just come out. So I understand going with Battlefront.
Yeah.
And Fallout, you'll be able to play, and it's going to be amazing whenever you play it. So.
Right, and you can, you could play it a year from now. It doesn't matter. It's going to be so immersive that you need to have your life kind of mapped out around a game that huge. Where Battlefront, you can pop it on, play a quick game, and go to bed.
And if it does really well, you could see them releasing a sequel in like 2 years or 3 maybe.
Absolutely.
So best to get on that while it's hot.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, Bender? Do you know if the leveling from the beta will carry over into the?
No,
will everybody start at 0?
I believe there was a disclaimer somewhere on the beta. Maybe it went right when you started it up or something. But your progress in the beta will not transfer to the main game. So
I'm okay with that.
When the main game comes out, everyone starts at 0. Which
okay.
I'm okay with it too. I mean,
because if you missed out on the beta, you shouldn't be punished for that.
Like me,
right?
Because I was and I'm still too immersed in Metal Gear to give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
So, I'm at 9% completion on Metal Gear Solid 5, and I think I've probably put about 40 hours into it.
Oh my dear God! Wow.
How long?
Probably about 40.
40 hours at 9% completion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good Lord.
To be fair, I try to play it pretty, stealthily, I guess.
Okay.
I try to use tactics, and I'm not just running in shooting everyone. I try to kill, as few people as possible.
Okay.
So a lot of the trank gun if I get seen by an enemy or something like that. So
and I'd imagine that kind of stealth gameplay is a lot more time consuming than just running and gunning.
Yeah, because you approach a camp or a building and stop, and you can from far away get out your binoculars and you can kind of tag each enemy you see walking around. So you want to wait and see what their patterns are going to be, so you can tag them, and then they'll kind of stay as like little blips on your screen, so you can see where they are at all times. And it definitely, if you're trying to play in a tactical way, it's good to take your time with that series. But I don't mind because it's incredible. So that's what I've been doing. Lots of Metal Gear. Lots and lots.
Yeah. I've been playing Zombie Army Trilogy that I downloaded off PlayStation Network right around Halloween, just because I'm a very lax gamer. Obviously, you guys know, but for our listeners, I love playing games, but I really just play for a couple hours and then I'm good. I think I own 7 or 8 games for my PS4, and I think I've beaten 2 of them. And both the ones that I've beaten are only 7-hour games. The Order 1886 and Until Dawn.
I feel like you play a lot more now than you did when I first met you.
Yeah.
Before you started working at GameStop.
Yeah. And, and I think working there, I do have a little bit. It did give me kind of motivation to start playing again. But I have been playing this Zombie Army Trilogy. I got it because it was shooting zombies and it was Halloween and it was on sale. And it's actually quite fun. I'm progressing farther in it than I at first anticipated, because I actually had a lot of trouble getting through even the first level. And I was about to just kind of be like, well, it's fun to turn on every now and then. But once I got past that first chapter, it really kind of opened up, and I'm learning how to play it, and it's a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun. And every single time you shoot a zombie in slow motion, it is equally as satisfying as the last time.
It kind of reminds me of VATS from Fallout.
Yeah.
When I see that slow motion.
Yeah.
Shooting, looks cool. And it makes me, again, question whether I'm going to just buy Fallout 4 and Battlefront and just go bankrupt, because it might be worth it. Because I'm a man who places quite a bit of emphasis on his enjoyment of life over, financial security. So.
But real quick before I don't know if it's time to move on or not, but did you see all the new stuff for Mass Effect Andromeda?
I have not.
Today is N7 day.
Right, yeah. I knew that.
So they're releasing some new news and a teaser trailer, I think. So you might want to check that out a little bit later.
I will do that in the comfort of my own home so as to have my orgasm in private. I don't think you guys want to witness.
You better do it at home so you can just masturbate.
I'll be coming all night.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
You're a big Mass Effect guy.
Yeah.
You're going to be Master Rack.
Mass Effect 2 is free this month on PlayStation 3.
I don't have a PS3,
I do.
But
so I will probably get it.
I would go ahead and grab
Play
it.
the first one.
I would definitely play the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The first one's my favorite of the trilogy story-wise. But that series, I don't consider Mass Effect a game. I consider it a religion. So.
How about movies? We just watched a couple movies the other night.
We did watch movies the other night. We had some horror movies for Halloween Eve. Let's see. We watched Inside.
My wife and I went over to Bender and Lindsay's apartment, and we got there as they were finishing up the movie Inside.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which
we had seen before.
We had shown them before, but if the movie topic stays consistent with this podcast, you'll find that I'm very into horror movies and I'm very into French horror movies. So we had some other friends over that evening, and we started off with my favorite horror movie, period, hands down, the French horror film Inside. And then we went on to a movie Nick brought called Gravy.
Yes.
Which was an excellent selection.
Loved it.
I thought. And then we capped off the night with another French flick, Martyrs.
I like that one too.
Martyrs is great.
It was good. Though, when we were driving home, I was talking to Jess about it, and I was like, I had trouble thinking of it as like a pure horror movie, because by the end of it, it almost felt slightly sci-fi-ish. Just, I think with the setting and, kind of the subject matter, it crossed over almost in like a kind of psychological sci-fi thriller,
It's almost kind of like a reverse Sunshine, where Sunshine kind of starts off as that sci-fi adventure movie.
Don't say too much because Bob hasn't seen it yet.
I know, but slowly switches into a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Martyrs is very much the same, although it starts out very intense.
Yeah.
With even some seemingly paranormal aspects to it, but then switches to a very cerebral thriller film almost.
Yeah. It was really good though. And Gravy was just a wonderful, dark,
horror
comedy. Yeah.
Wonderful romp.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a great word. It was a romp. A romp of a film. That one was written and directed by James Roday of Psych fame, who plays Sean Spencer, the main character on Psych. And the one guy, Lindsay brought it up a few times, but one of the main characters in that movie reminded me a lot of Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, they look almost identical.
Yeah.
Although I know the only other thing that I know that guy has been in was he was in a very short scene in Garden State with Zach Braff. He plays a policeman in that movie. And I know he's been in plenty of other things because I've seen him before, but that's the one scene that he always sticks out to me in what I reference him to. But though he was so similar to Charlie Day, I feel like he was still a better pick for that role, though.
Yeah, I agree, because he had a little bit, I don't know, he had that like loud silliness, but also he seemed a little bit more sinister. I don't know if I would have taken Charlie as seriously in that role when I needed to, if he would have been there. But yeah, he did a good job. I wouldn't say he was like knocking off Charlie Day.
No, not at all. They just happen to be very similar looking human beings.
Yeah, and I think the opening exchange between him and Sarah Silverman is one of the best things I've ever seen in a movie.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
So check out Inside if you haven't. If you're ready for a shock of an evening, it's a shocker.
It's a gory shocker.
A stomach churner.
Stomach churner for sure.
Yeah. So if you're weak of heart,
probably shouldn't watch it.
But
if you're looking for a damn good home invasion movie, Inside is the tippy top of the iceberg, I think.
And if you want a nice dark horror comedy, some slapstick, some good music, and
some
also
great sound effects.
Yeah, great sound effects, and some good special effects too.
Yeah, I thought so.
Check out Gravy, and then also Martyrs. Bob,
anything you're looking forward to, or anything you've seen recently?
I did pick up, in the spirit of Halloween, I picked up the original Alien, starring Sigourney Weaver, and also picked up Predator, which isn't kind of more of a sci-fi horror movie. Both of them really, although Alien is definitely more horror leaning.
Yeah,
it's like a haunted house movie in space where the ghost is an alien, plus a slasher villain, basically. I think I'm so desensitized to the slasher genre, though, that I feel like if I would have seen... Because this was the first time I'd seen Alien as a 28-year-old man. I've seen Aliens a million times. I love it. It's one of my favorite fucking sci-fi movies, but for whatever reason, I'd just never seen the first Alien film, and I'd seen the famous scene with the alien popping out of the chest and everything, so that... And you see that in Aliens and then the movies going forward from that one, so it's not as shocking when you see it in the original film. I thought it was very well done. I love the future 70s look of everything. It's really fucking great looking on a Blu-ray disc. I suggest, if you haven't seen it in high definition, it's extremely pleasing to look at. I think it was a good film. I think it would have affected me a little more strongly if I'd seen it at a younger age, or perhaps when I hadn't already seen a bunch of people get eaten by aliens already. So what you want to do is, if you haven't seen any of the Alien movies, just start with the first one.
As you should do with any series, in my opinion.
And in my defense, it wasn't like the people who show up to GameStop and buy Mass Effect 3 and they've never played the first two.
I hate those people.
My Aliens came out in 1987, the year I was born. So, and my dad loved Aliens. He watched it all the time on VHS. So, naturally, I was just exposed to that movie because my dad was watching it all the time. He didn't... Alien is kind of... Once you know what happens...
You don't just sit down and watch Alien.
There's no reason to watch it again, really. I mean, other than to get the aesthetic going and
maybe if you're doing a marathon,
right?
You want to do something like that.
But it's because it is more of a horror movie. You know, when you know where the alien's coming from and what's going to happen, I can't see the replay value being nearly as high as Aliens, which I don't fault my dad for. So. Aliens, great movie. I think it is superior to the first film. Even though it's vastly different, I just find the entertainment value, you know, it has more memorable characters, I feel like. Although I love the space trucker thing about Alien, with the guys bitching about their paychecks and everything. That's really cool. It gives it a real feel. Because, you know, in the future, we'll all still be human, you know. So to add those imperfections there and have them be kind of gritty, you know,
it's a nice
trucker
touch.
dudes, yeah, it's a great touch. It makes me want to see Prometheus, which I still haven't seen. I know it's been out forever and they're already making a sequel, but I'm one of the few that hasn't seen it. I know it got mixed reviews, but I want to give it a go myself before I...
Pass away?
Yeah. Okay. Before I pass away and before I pass judgment and before I pass gas.
Let's talk about wrestling and have a moment of silence real quick. That was for Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins, tearing...
He didn't die, but...
Man, when you sent me that message that said, "Did you hear about Rollins?" I was worried that he was in a car accident or something. It seemed, my mind goes to the darker places immediately, but then I was relieved to know that he just hurt his knee real bad and he's going to be out for a while, which...
Of course, we're talking about, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Who had held the title since WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I could have seen him holding on to it until WrestleMania 32. I think that would have been cool, but
Right.
unfortunately he suffered an injury in Dublin, Ireland at a house show wrestling the Demon Kane.
Oh my God.
And that that brings up the fun fact that look what happened to Daniel Bryan in his feud with Kane.
Right.
And now Seth Rollins in his feud with Kane.
Yep. I'm sure they'll make that somehow part of Kane's character going forward, that he takes these young rising stars and kind of uses his slow and boring wrestling style to destroy them and try to take their careers away.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of the Randy Orton legend killer gimmick. He just tries to end early the careers of like all the up and coming stars.
He tries to snuff them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's jelly.
Literally. Yeah, that it's a shame about Rollins, but as any wrestling fan knows, a shake-up is always good.
Yeah, it's going to make for an interesting Survivor Series.
Right.
Because you're going to get the nice tournament for the World Championship at Survivor Series.
And you don't see tournaments in American professional wrestling all that often anymore.
No, I wish they had more of them, but yeah, that would be neat.
Yeah. Who are you liking these days? Who are you? We know you're a big. Maybe since it's the first show, we can just say, who we're watching and who's getting us excited about wrestling these days.
Well, I would say on the main roster, Kevin Owens and Cesaro are probably my two dudes at the moment that I would look to. I think Owens can really raise the prestige of the Intercontinental Championship if he keeps it, and they really make people chase it and act like it means something.
Right. He needs to put down a lot of good quality talent to really elevate that title.
Yeah.
Because they really upped the prestige of the U.S. title with John Cena carrying it for so long.
Yeah.
So they can do the same as long as they keep, bringing up challengers to Owens and having them knock them down one by one and basically stay at the top of that hill, sort of like Rollins has with the WWE title for a long time.
Yeah,
you don't want it to turn into a hot potato situation where there's a group of 5 guys just passing it back and forth.
That's awful.
We don't want that.
Then down in NXT, obviously Balor, just waiting for him to finally come up at some point. And I really like Asuka too. I think she's amazing. So those would be my hot picks at the moment.
Okay.
Those are getting me excited.
I will say in NXT, my favorite wrestlers to watch right now are the tag team Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. I think their energy just gets me going. I love, they just put together great tag matches. I mean, I was watching one of their more recent ones. I can't remember the two guys they wrestle because their names are so complicated. But it was a long match. I mean, lots of build up and knockdown, comeback. Nice comeback. Looked like they were going to lose at certain points. They put together great matches with whoever they wrestle, and it's always extremely exciting. And because they're new and they're not necessarily the top of the food chain, you don't know whether they're going over.
Right.
And that makes it really fun to watch, whether you think they're going to get robbed or whether they're going to win, because they're not just bowling people over. They're kind of earning their spot in the tag team realm, even in NXT. So, because you got the Vaudevillains as the champs at the moment. But watch out for Jordan and Gable. Whether they stay a tag team or separate eventually and do their own thing, I think they're a great tag team. I think they should stay that way for a while. I think they can bring a lot of excitement to the tag team division. I hope they get called up at some point, but I'm really enjoying their NXT work.
Maybe put them under the tutelage of Kurt Angle.
Oh, man. If you brought back Kurt Angle and made him, their mentor or manager or something, that would just be... it writes itself.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's
World's Greatest Tag Team Part 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the main roster, I gotta agree with you. Kevin Owens is probably whenever I hear his music hit, no matter who he's wrestling, love to watch the guy. I think he's just it's surprising the way he moves and the kind of spots that he can pull off with his size and just the way he looks. He just looks like a guy you just called off his couch. And you're like, hey, come up here and try to throw a match together. And I think that's part of his charm, is that he just always surprises you with what he's capable of doing. And I hope backstage he's proven all those dickheads wrong that think that you need to look like Ryback to get over. Because Ryback sucks, and Kevin Owens is a world-class wrestler. So whether you like it or not.
And... just awesome on the mic too.
Oh man,
I think they need to give him more mic time.
Absolutely.
Every time he starts talking, I feel like it cements him more and more as just like, this force, kind of along the line. I don't want to compare him to Austin yet, but he's got that like, I'm just gonna say whatever the hell I'm thinking right now,
and he doesn't care whether the crowd likes it or not.
Yeah,
he's not a traditional heel. He's more of just like, I'm out for me. Yeah, that's it. A more charismatic version of Lesnar's mercenary kind of deal.
He's a prize fighter, man.
Yeah, he's embraced that character, that cocky character, and I love to watch him wrestle. I love Cesaro too. I think Cesaro, they kind of protect him and keep him off the mic because his in-ring work does excel, but I think he is good on the mic. Yeah. I like whenever he gets to cut a promo, I think he does a good job, and I think he'll only get better if they give him more opportunities. So, as usual, I am a Lesnar mark. I like watching the guy beat the shit out of people. I thought Undertaker and Lesnar had a great match.
Oh yeah, that was a great match.
Hell in a Cell.
And Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns had an awesome match too. I thought
they tore it down.
Which was surprising. Both of those matches surprised me.
Yeah,
that whole pay-per-view did.
Yeah, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Hell in a Cell. Maybe pause this next part or skip past it, whatever, mute it. But the way that the Wyatt family came out and carried the Undertaker into the back, I don't know what they've done to address that since.
Have you not watched Raw?
I've not seen Raw.
Well, they did it to Kane too. Did you know that?
Yes, I did see that too.
And then Wyatt has their powers now.
Oh my god!
So
that's fucking awesome.
They're going total comic book with it, which I think is really cool.
That's amazing.
I wish they would do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sort of allow people to recognize wrestling as a TV show. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because nobody says it, but the Undertaker character is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a man who... They got rid of the urn a while ago, but when he had the urn, it's this supposedly dead guy who gets his power from this urn full of God knows whose ashes. I don't know who it was supposed to be in there or what, but it's a supernatural character. You know, wrestling's never going to be, you know, a complete shoot. They're never going to look like they're MMA fighters fighting. If you want that, you should watch New Japan, because they have a lot of things that the strong style borders on actual fighting, and it's so stiff that it really comes off. They really are beating the shit out of each other. When, you know, in American wrestling it is that way, but it's a lot more storyline driven and a lot more, like you said, comic book.
Yeah.
There's tons more guys on the roster that I like, but I am digging Kevin Owens, and he's one of those guys when his music hits, you don't fast forward. So.
Well, that's about all we're gonna do for wrestling here. We have another little segment that we're gonna do in the future where we're going to hit just rapid fire user submitted topics. So things you want us to talk about, we're gonna go through, and we're gonna devote 1 minute to each topic, and we'll do a maximum of probably 10, and we will just try and shred through and bullshit our way through whatever you want us to talk about. So next week, or throughout this week rather, before the next show, you can just leave a comment on the Divorce Club page or on our Facebook page. We'll have a post up for the podcast where you can do that. So rather than hitting rapid fire segments, because we don't have any, why don't we revisit this week's trends? Why don't we bring back
the TT boys?
Let's see what the TT boys have to say here. I'm just going to expand this a little bit, and let's see what we've got. Trending. We're going to go with... why don't you pick one out there,
Okay.
Bobby?
Let me see.
See, he's sifting through trends.
How about this? It's a Lego trend. A football fan uses plastic bricks to build replicas of Big Ten stadiums, including Michigan State, Penn State, Notre Dame, and his alma mater, Ohio State, and more. He sells them for $50 on Etsy. So,
how big are they?
It doesn't say here. I'd imagine they're probably at least maybe.
That seems like a low price.
$50 does seem like a low price for a Lego sculpture.
They're
so
probably
you're probably
small.
looking at like,
Yeah, I'm thinking they must be tiny.
you know,
Thinking maybe the size of a cereal bowl, maybe. Is that too big?
Maybe smaller.
maybe the
smaller.
size of a computer mouse.
Yeah.
Computer mouse? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say cereal bowl.
How you're
Just
gonna
'cause
get?
It depends on the size of the Legos you're using.
Well, so you got to think about what kind of, the size of Legos. Because Legos aren't the smallest things ever. So even, I mean,
Well, they
still
make
think
the big bricks, but then they make the real tiny pieces too.
Yeah,
so,
the really thin
right.
cracker
Oh
strips.
yeah,
yeah.
that's true. I forgot about that.
So,
I haven't built Legos
without
in a
actually
while.
seeing it, which we won't do,
No.
we will not click the link. We're going to just be able to, all we'll be able to do is speculate on the size of these stadiums. Now, what I'm wondering is if you can somehow use Legos to, if he perhaps by special request would be able to construct a brain that's been damaged by CTE,
Mm-hmm.
which is caused by just the act of playing football. What do you think about that? Perhaps get the little proteins that cause early onset dementia in those who crack each other's heads into each other for 60 minutes every game, Not to mention all the times they do it in practice, and all the times they've done it in the years and years they've been playing before they've gotten to college. And the fact that their brains aren't even done developing even in their senior year of college. So, what about that? You think he's got a brain for anybody? You think this dickhead even thought about what it does to people's brains? Do you think anybody gives a
His
shit?
brain's probably not developed yet, so it didn't quite cross his mind.
I kind of don't give a shit. Because I feel like if you're playing football, you know at this point
Okay.
about concussions.
I
and-
compare it to smoking cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
So, smoking cigarettes, everybody did it, right? Everybody's grandparents were smokers. If they weren't, it's an anomaly. Most people smoked in the, even back to the 50s and 60s. People were lighting it up. They kind of had a vague idea that it was bad for you, but the tobacco companies did quite a bit to keep that buried. They didn't want people to find out that it caused cancer. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, a lot of money on the line. So they covered it up as long as they could, and then at some point it was brought to Congress, I believe, and there were many hearings and legal battles about, whether you can advertise smoking on TV anymore, which you can't. So there's all this bullshit. I'm sure a lot of people got paid plenty of hush money to stay quiet about it, were paid off, to give them money for their medical bills so that they could continue to sell them. Now, after all that, if you grow up in today's world and pick up a cigarette and start smoking, that's on you, yes.
Yeah.
But it's similar with the NFL, because forever you're playing football, you can get injured, concussions are a deal, it's something, but you don't know the long-term effects until guys start dying before they're 60 years old and killing themselves because they've gone completely insane from traumatic brain injuries that they've sustained by playing this sport for such a long time. And the NFL tried to cover it up with their millions of dollars and with threats toward the people that were trying to get this information out to the public. And they're actually making a motion picture about this, starring Will Smith. And I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL was trying to get that film to not come out somehow.
Well, yeah, all of that is bullshit, I will say.
Absolutely.
That's not cool, but...
But in your reckoning, which I agree with, now that we know all this shit about concussions and people are still playing football, they know what they're getting into.
Right.
But I think it's horse shit that the NFL tried to cover that up.
Yes.
And we know that it causes traumatic brain injuries, whether you know it or not at the time, and whether you think you've had a concussion or not.
The ethical thing would have been to come forth with the information and disseminate it freely.
Yes.
As soon as they found out.
And warn people ahead of time, look, you're playing a sport which, by playing it, you damage your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way around it. You are damaging your brain. Whether it's a lot or a little depends on the position you play and how much you play, how long you play.
Yeah.
But you are damaging your brain, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that's why I've opted out of the football game as far as the NFL is concerned. But yes, I understand that a lot of people still love the game, and I loved it, and I still have many fond memories of playing football growing up and everything, and I think it helped make me who I am today. But I also think if I had a do-over, I probably wouldn't have participated.
And Bob will not be purchasing any miniature Lego football stadiums.
No, I won't.
Nor
Because
will
if
I.
people cared half as much as they did about football, about real issues, I think the world would be a different place. So,
Well, to recap,
I'm the party pooper.
happy birthday, Seth Rollins. We talked about some movies, some horror movies, some funny movies, some alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
We got our video games.
Yep.
talked about Fallout 4 coming up.
Yep, Battlefront.
The fight to figure out which one you should choose.
I'm just eventually giving in to buying both.
Throwing caution to the wind and just filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy, why not?
Try and let the big game companies
Just don't let them take your
Yeah.
PS4 away.
Yeah.
Or
Keep
your
that.
X-Bone.
Yeah.
Maybe let them take the X-Bone so you can buy a PS4.
Comics, we know that Bender and I are both behind on our weekly and monthly books.
I'm gonna try to get up to date for the sake of this podcast.
I'll
though.
do the same.
And really, even if I'm not necessarily up to date reading per se, I'm gonna try to have at least something prepared. Like this came out this week. Here's my highlights from this week or whatever. So
We
That
found
would
out
be
that
cool.
you do not want to let your fingers do the walking.
not at all.
Yeah. So
The Yellow Page War of '82.
help spread awareness about the Yellow Pages.
Delete your world traveling apps.
Absolutely.
Don't buy the lie.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
download it either.
Don't buy
Nope.
the lie. That's
Yep.
a good one.
We hit our trending topics. We came the TT Boys.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit about Weezer.
Yep.
And had some fun there. That was funny. Yeah, that's about it for tonight.
Yeah.
For our
sorry
first
we
show.
sorry I got a little serious there at the end, but I have a strong opinion on the whole brain injury thing.
That's okay.
Shades of Chris Benoit, kind of
You're
deal.
allowed to have strong opinions. You said that earlier. People
Yeah.
are going to get strong opinions on the show
Yep.
from time to time.
And you guys
So-
can disagree with us. You can comment as long as you're not too hostile about it.
no,
We have
even
feelings.
they probably could be too hostile, really.
but- It is a free country. You can be hostile.
I mean, if you go on like
If you
our
think I'm full of
Facebook
shit
or-
about the NFL covering up brain injuries, I'd love to talk to you about it.
they could take to our Facebook page and say "fuck you."
These guys get paid millions of dollars. Who gives a shit about their brains?
We won't delete your comments
yeah.
No, we won't.
unless we decide to, but we probably won't. Thanks for listening to our first show.
Yeah, thanks guys. If you have any topics you want us to cover in our rapid fire segment next week, just leave them on our Facebook or in the Divorce Club.
Also, the topics for Super Divorce Don't Know Shit.
Yeah. And if you're in the area, definitely come out to our show at the American Legion in Lebanon next Friday, the 13th.
Friday, November 13th, American Legion. Jason's gonna be there, so be prepared to die if you come. But also drink beer
Yep.
and listen
Eat
to
pizza.
awesome bands and eat pizza. Yeah.
We will have an entry option where you can get unlimited beer for the evening. We're going to have classic Miller Lite cans, as many of them as you can take down.
$20, unlimited beer.
The
Yep.
goal to beat is Andrew Szymanski.
Are we
Back to
encouraging death at
We're
that
not
point? Though?
encouraging.
Yeah. I don't want people to die of alcohol poisoning.
He drank over 30 beers at our last Legion show, so if you can beat that, then maybe we can throw in like a prize.
Oh my god. There's
No,
going to be
don't-
legal
Don't try.
ramifications.
Don't
for
do that. No
Don't try to
prizes.
take down Andrew because he'll just drink 50
Yeah.
and you'll
And then
just
we'll have
lose.
2 dead people.
And more vomit on our
Oh,
belongings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't encourage alcohol abuse, but we do encourage you to come drink on Friday. So,
Use, not abuse.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for listening. Oh, before we go, if you enjoyed the show, stop over to our Facebook channel, or not Facebook, sorry, YouTube. Our YouTube channel, we're going to do a live program. Not live. We're going to record it live.
We could
but you
stream
won't-
it live eventually if we got
Eventually,
that
yeah.
capability.
That would be
but,
cool.
Yeah.
But we're going to upload a show that we will record live with our faces and bodies, where you can see us talking about I don't even know what.
Probably random ass shit.
That is going to be for people who like no structure, and we'll just.
It'll be called the Super Divorce Super Saturdays.
Yeah, today is Super Saturday.
Okay.
Every Saturday is Super Saturday with Super Divorce, where you get the podcast and the video show. So, yeah, check that out over on YouTube.
We'll see you there.
See you on YouTube, guys.
See ya. Take real good care.
Yep.
Too sweet me.
Too sweet me, bro. Suck it.